I've been doing content creation for many years now, and one of the biggest things I see is sort of shadow bans within the community. That's really one of the biggest hurdles that creators overcome and need to really overcome if they want to take YouTube to the next level. Now, there is a big problem on YouTube. There's two things. First off, it's zero view jail. I've made a video on that before, how to, avoid that. And essentially, it's just using a channel that was made before 2022. That's one way to just completely avoid zero view jail. But one thing that's really unavoidable in the beginning is how to overcome 15k view jail on faceless YouTube Shorts. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm sure you've had this problem, and it's probably the biggest thing that stops creators that are just starting out from really taking YouTube Shorts full time. And it's probably one of the biggest motivation killers, and the thing that not only has hurt me, but many of my students and many of my personal close friends. Now, there are ways to avoid it, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how we do it. So why it happens and some examples of it. Now, this is a channel right here called Oracle PvP. What it does is it does like Minecraft shorts. This is a perfect candidate and kind of a perfect example of a channel that is stuck in 15k view jail. You guys can see every single one of their videos, doesn't matter which one it is. Every video is getting like 10, 15k, 15k. It's really not great. Now, it is very demotivating. I am completely aware of that, but I want you to know that once you do get past this 15k view jail part, that's really where, and I've done this before, we finally start scaling to, 10, 15, even 20k a month with music deals and normal AdSense RPM. This is probably the biggest hurdle you have to overcome. And once you've done this, you're just so much closer to really taking YouTube automation full time. Now, this is an example of a channel that is doing it all the wrong ways, right? They aren't optimizing, they aren't making changes to try and overcome this hurdle, right? So going back to our document, why it happens. Why does YouTube do this? Why are they such dogs that they really feel the need to do this? Now, this is more of a safety precaution. You guys know back in the day, people were like spamming YouTube Shorts. It was a big problem. You were able to post like 400 times a day and get to like 1 million subscribers in like a week. Now, that was a big problem facing YouTube. So what they kind of did to counter that was add 2 jails. I already spoke about it. Zero view jail, which is essentially for new channels to make sure you're not a bot. I've already said how to fix that. That's very avoidable. But 15k view jail is almost impossible to avoid at the start. You're always going to get into it one way or another. Now, the number one killer for 15k view jail is shit content. I'm sorry to tell you, but this is one of the people's videos or one of their channels from my Discord server. If you guys want to join that, discord.gg/1%. We all share analytics. We find niches together. We really just help you scale. Now, this is an example of a channel that's really bad. I mean, the content just isn't very good, right? Now, this is a problem. The reason why this guy is just not getting any views, this isn't jail. I see a big misconception where people are like, oh, look, I'm in 15k view jail. No, you're not. Your content's just dog shit. And that's completely okay. Like, I'm not trying to hate on you. I am just telling you from a point of, I want you to fix this, and I want you to understand that the biggest factor that contributes to this, you may be in 15k view jail, but if you're in there for a substantial or a long period of time, you really need to start looking into those other optimizations that could be a contributing factor to the reason why you're still in there. And the number one is just horrible content. I'm sorry, but this type of content is just never going to go viral, and you really have to just understand that, you've got a obviously AI profile picture that you made with ChatGPT. Great, but you're not going to go viral. The PFP doesn't make a difference. I'm just pointing that out. This channel is just never going to get views no matter what. Now, that is the biggest killer, shit content. If you overcome that and you're posting consistently and you have good videos, you're essentially going to have a much higher chance of breaking out quicker than you would if you were just posting horrible content. I'm sorry, I know people hate to hear it, but that's just a fact. The next thing is consistency. I see a lot of people that are in 15k view jail, and they try and sort of counter it by posting 3 times a day. When you're starting out, if you're still in those initial jails, whether it be 0 view or 15k view jail, you absolutely under no circumstances want to post more than once a day. Even once a day is a bit iffy, but that's kind of what I recommend. I think once a day is really good standpoint to start putting out good content. But if you're stuck in any sort of jail, never post more than once a day. All that's going to do is just add to the fact that you're a bot, and it's really going to make YouTube just hate your guts. Now, don't get me wrong. Once you're out of 15k view jail, feel free to post twice a day if you have a really good niche and the monetization is working out well. But if you are just starting out and you're in a jail, never post more than once a day. If you're posting once a day, emphasize the fact that you want quality over quantity. This is exceptionally important in the initial stages of starting up a faceless shorts channel. It is so imperative that you are posting, on a consistent basis at the same time every single day. And if you have one video performing really, really well, whether it's getting 1,000 shorts views an hour, don't post another video whilst that initial video is still gaining traction, because when you post a new short on a channel like this, obviously later on when you're out of 15k view jail, feel free to post once another short is still doing well. That's completely fine. But whilst you're in jail, please listen to what I'm saying. I know only about 1% of you guys are going to watch this, but while you're in jail, if you have a video doing 1,000 views an hour, do not post another video until that previous video has finished getting views, because how do you know that video getting 1,000 views an hour is not going to be the one that breaks out of that 15k view jail barrier? So keep that in mind, and please just take everything I'm saying, whether you want to note it down on a document while I'm speaking about this. Obviously, none of this content is edited. It's always going to be free, and I really just want you guys to be aware of these little things that you can kind of nitpick and take away from this to really emphasize and make your channel perform well. So consistency, very, very important. Now, the next thing, optimizing swipe rate and AVD. Aim for an 80-20 split. Now, if you're watching this and you already do shorts, I'm sure you're aware of what this is. Swipe rate is essentially the people that see your shorts on the shorts feed, how much percent of them swipe away. We really want to be aiming for that 20-80 split, meaning 80% of the people that see it stay for the video, 20% leave. That's completely fine. That's a good, swipe rate to aim for. How can I increase my swipe rate? Whether it be having a sound effect when the video first starts, having a pop-up, having a zoom in, having little things that capture attention, whether it be a hook, whatever it might be, to really emphasize and make the viewer stay on your content. One thing that I personally like to do is look at others in the niche, watch their videos and see which ones I immediately drawn to. And I want to iron out, why am I drawn to this content? What makes me like this more than others? Why am I hooked at the beginning? And just replicate exactly what they're doing. Now, if you're doing, if you're in 15k view jail, let's say your swipe rate's 70-30, getting that up to about 80-20 is really going to increase your chances of getting out straight away. It's just going to make it so much easier. So definitely optimize swipe rate. Now, AVD, what that means is the average view duration. Essentially, I'm going to go ahead and show you one of my channels right now that I recently started so you guys can get a little bit of an idea on how AVD works. Now guys, this was a channel that I made for a challenge very, very recently. As you can see, the first video, or the third video I should say, did really, really well. Now, it got 15k views. Obviously, I'm still in 15k view jail because I just started this video, but if we head over to, the analytics, it's still getting, quite a bit of views, but you guys can see, this is a very good graph. There are a few problems with it. Now, I'm going to teach you exactly what those are. When you have a graph like this, right, you guys can see it's 170%, meaning you might be asking, well, how do you have over 100% average view duration? That's because at the end of the video, I inserted a hook. So I kind of re-put the outro back into the intro, so some people didn't know that the video ended. But this is an example of a decent graph, but could be optimized a lot more. You guys can see right here, why did I drop off 4% after, just in 1 second? Now, look at this and see, okay, hold on, what made this drop? Now, this is also another thing. I dropped off here as well at the 16-second mark, and I also dropped off here at the 7-second mark. Now, this is very normal. You're always going to have a little bit of that, but what you want it to do is go like down and then flatten out. So it's more like a waterfall that's stopping. That's kind of what you want in terms of an AVD. So what I would do is if you're in 15k view jail and this is what your graph looks like, look at those little drops. See, okay, hold on, what caused that? How can I improve on that in future uploads? Fix that one there, fix that one here, fix this one here, and that's really all you have to do. Once you've done that, this video did all right. It had a 93% AVD, not horrible, not great. Heading over to the swipe rate, you guys can see on this channel, we have about a 70-30 split. Now, that kind of funnels back into what I was saying prior about really aiming for that 80-20 conversion, because obviously if I had made those two little changes in not only the AVD graph, but also trying to increase the swipe rate from 70-30 to 80-20, not only would I have an AVD of over 100%, I would also have a swipe rate of over 80%, meaning that YouTube would see that content, and if you're posting on a consistent basis, hitting all those markers consistently, you will be out of, 15k view jail very, very quick. Now, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about for, optimizing it, right? Swipe rate, AVD, those are the two factors that contribute to a channel being stuck in 15k view jail. Now, Once you're out, you're usually out for good. How this works is essentially if you're in 15k view jail, I see a lot of people ask me this exact same question over in my Discord server. Once again, discord.gg/1%. It's insane. We have a great community where we all share results. It's really, really entertaining. So go ahead and join. Link down below if you're interested. But once you're out, you're out. What that means is if you have a video that gets 150k views, more than likely you are now out of, YouTube short jail. Now, it does not count if it was like a year ago and you're going on that channel again. It could have gone back in. But for the most part, if you're posting consistently and you have a video that gets 150k views, the chances are you're out of 15k view jail, which is amazing. That means you can start printing, start building up a long-term audience. Now, definitely once you have gotten out of it, really emphasize, don't flop, don't just continue be like, okay, now I'm out of it, I can just slack off and not improve my AVD. Always try to improve, because that's really what's going to contribute to having a long-term audience and, get you out of it even sooner. Next thing, YouTube just needs to see consistency and constant improvement. If your quality sucks, sorry, but you're not breaking out. This is the harsh reality. I am sorry, guys. I love every single one of you. I want all of you to perform great. YouTube Shorts is changing what's possible for content creators as a whole, and it really is just making 10k a month. It's making that ridiculously easy. You can be making more than a doctor off of brain rot shorts within 2 months. Now, what is important is you aren't posting shit shorts. I'm sorry, guys. Look at the short and be like, is this something I would watch? Don't be biased just because it's your short. You need to actually look at this and be like, am I watching this? Because 90% of the channels I see are just horrible. The content just isn't good. It's not going to go viral because it just isn't high quality enough. And I'm sorry to say that. So just ensure that your quality is better than your competition. It's as simple as that. If you have competition doing really good views, go ahead and copy their style and just try to improve where they went wrong, whilst also inputting those small changes in the AVD and swipe rate, which I spoke about prior. Now, guys, once again, if you want free info and free channel reviews, go ahead and join our public community, discord.gg/1%. And obviously, I will never sell a course, but I have a one-on-one private mentorship where, I scale clients directly one-on-one with me every single day to 10, 20k a month. If you are interested, the link is blakeryan.co. Once again, it's very private, so it's not like you can't just guarantee to get accepted. So, give it your best shot. If you look like a good candidate, I might work with you. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Best of luck. I hope you all break out and we really take this full time. See you all in the next upload.